Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is Els Kimney from Bemis Crafty Corner, and I have this little project for us today. Now, this is not the finished project. Obviously, this is the mock-up. We're going to do the finished project together. And what this is it's just like a little folio that opens up. There's going to be some pockets inside. And then these are not to scale, but you're going to have two little notebooks in here as well that you'll be able to take out. So, little gusset on the side. You can see it's a nice little 1/4 of an inch there. And we're going to get this all put together. So get out some 12 by 12 cardstock. I'll get you the rest of the supply list, and I will be right back. Alrighty, what do we need for this one? Just came back inside. It's a little chilly outside. We're going to need some adhesive, scoring tools if you have them. If you do not, there's other ways we can do this, okay? And that's just with a ruler. You will want a ruler, a pair of scissors, and you're going to want at least one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock, and then one piece of 8.5 by 11. Doesn't have to be the same. All right, so we're going to start off with our 12 by 12 sheet. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it's in here, nice and, aligned up. We're going to take our first score at 6 inches. Nice, easy, light couple of scores, okay? Now, when I do this, I create a valley. So when I fold this, I'm going to fold it the other way to make a hill out of it. You'll see. So there. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and I am going to score at 1 tick before the 4, all the way down, and then 1 after the 4. So for those of you that are keeping track, that's 3 7/8 and 4 1/8. Okay? Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to go at 7 7/8, 1 tick before the 8, 8 1/8, which is 1 tick after. Okay? That's all the scoring. Now, on that 8.5 by 11, all we're going to do is we're going to cut that down to 7.5 inches. We're going to take 1 inch off the long end, and then we're going to cut it in half at 5.5, and then fold those two pieces in half, so those become our little notebooks, okay? That's that part. Now, let's move on to some cutting and trimming and stuff, because we're going to do that too. So I'm going to get the scoreboard out of the way. When I come back, we're going to trim this up a little bit and remove some pieces, and then we're going to get some stuff taken care of. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm using black cardstock because this is the best way for you all to see the score lines in this. We're going to remove this part, this part, this part, and this part. Okay? Now, if you're skilled with a trimmer, you can probably do this with a trimmer. If you are skilled with your scissors, you can probably do it with your scissors, but I'll be honest, I am not skilled with either of those things. What I am good with is an X-Acto knife. So I'm going to be cutting this, and what I'm doing is I'm taking the score line out. So I want to make sure I cut just above the score line here. And I'm going to take out both of these pieces. All right, so here we go. I'm going to remove this piece right here. And then I'm going to take out this piece. And I've removed the score lines, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then this one right here. okay? So you should have a piece that looks like this. Now, we're going to use one of these, so let's keep a hold of it, okay? I'm going to get some stuff out of the way and get this knife put away before I drop it on my foot and stab myself. And I will be right back. So now, with our leftover piece, what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we're not cutting. We don't want the score line, so let's get rid of that. And we don't want this one on the end either, so we're going to get rid of that one. So now we've gotten rid of those two pieces. Now we're going to take a piece that is 1 1/4 inches. 1 1/4. Save the rest of that with the other one because we're going to use it. And then we're just going to take this piece and fold it in half. Okay? Now, if you want to use your scoreboard, by all means, use your scoreboard, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start, this is the open end. So, we're going to start at the folded end and just nip in, okay? We want a piece that looks a bit like a diamond, all right? That's the piece we want. And then we're going to bring our T back, turning it over so that the hills, the bumpy sides of your score line are facing up. We're going to put some glue on here. And then turn this in any direction that you need to. For me, it has to be on my left. You're going to take this fold and put it on that edge. All right. Now, we have 2 score lines here and 2 score lines here. We're going to fold those. And burnish. Hills into valleys, valleys into hills, right? Right. Making sure everything is nice and straight. And we'll do this side. If you have a problem with this 1/4 inch, because I know that for a lot of people it's very hard to work that 1/4 inch. If you have a problem with it, what you can do is just take your ruler and put your ruler up against that score line and then bring your material up, and it's going to help you get that crease started, okay? And then that nice and straight. Alrighty. Next step. With the tail facing down towards you, this side, you're going to trim a scant amount off of it. All right? So let me bring my trimmer in, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. This is a scant amount. Okay? It's like, I don't even think it's a 1/16 of an inch. But we're going to take that off. And that is so that when we fold this together, it gets that squareness. If you need to take a little bit more off, take a little more off. You want this to be nice and square, okay? And I am going to take a little bit more off of mine because I don't like the way it sits. Another scant amount. Okay, let's see. Ooh, much better. Now it sits nice and square. All right, glue on your little flap. We are very carefully going to bring this up on that score line and press it to the top. And we want this between the score lines, nice and straight, right along that edge. Okay? so that we now have that double-sided pocket there. And that we can close this up nice and square. All right? Now, what's next? Next, we're going to be cutting some mats. I'm going to clear up the mess. I'm going to get my trimmer out, some paper to decorate, and I'll be right back. So I've chosen this paper, and the reason that I chose this paper is because it's not overly directional. Butterflies are going in every direction. So it's not overly directional. So what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting mats for this. Now here's the good news. 1, 2, 3. Basically, all the mats are pretty much the same size. This is the only one that's just slightly smaller. So you have 4 that are exact same size and 2 that are slightly smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this. We know this is 6 inches. And we're going to take 1/4 of an inch off. So 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, so 3 1/2. So 5 3/4 by 3 1/2. So let me get my trim open here. 3 1/2. Yes. If you're not sure your measurements, cut a piece of scrap paper, you know? And then 5 3/4. Just cut a piece of scrap paper just to test. And you can always use that piece of scrap paper for a note card or something later. So let's take a look. How did we do? Oh, we did beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so 5 3/4. Right there. All right, so that's going to go that one. And this is the one that's small, so let's see how that goes. Works fine there too, 5 3/4. There you go. So 6 that are 5 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay. So let's cut another 3 1/2. Now you can do, you know, different paper if you want on different parts of this. Let's see, what else do we have over here that we could use? Ooh, this would work. So maybe I want to do my covers and then the inside and do that one, and then these 2 flaps I'll do different. So let's go 3 1/2. Look at, I got this music paper. We'll use this one. 3 1/2. Oops. 3 1/2. And then 5 3/4. All right. And then let's see. Oh, we're going to need 1 more of these at 3 1/2. Maybe 2. Yeah, we're going to need 2. 1 for the back. If I'm going to decorate the back, I need 1 for the back. Okay. 3 1/2. 5 3/4. 5 3/4. I've got this. I'm being attacked. Being attacked by a piece of paper. Okay, so that's the 4 that I want for that, plus 2 on the inside. So that's all of my pieces. Now, I'm going to go ink. You do not need to ink if you do not want to ink. But I'm going to go ink. I'm going to save these because these are going to be fantastic for my Scrapbuster 10,000. I'll put the video link up at the top here someplace. And we're going to go ahead and ink all of these, and then when we come back, we're going to get them put down, and then we're going to work on some pockets and notebooks. I'll be right back. So I have inked all of my pages. And we're going to start by putting this face down. That's the open flap down, okay? And we're going to be putting our pieces on, and all we're going to do is glue them in, okay? Nothing fancy schmancy here. Now, if you want to round your corners before you do this. And then, you know, re-ink. I kind of like the straight look on this. But that's a personal preference. Don't ever take what I say and go, okay. No, do it your way. Like I always say, you do you, boo, okay? So we're going to put this down. Get those out of the way. I'm making sure that I center it between the fold and the outside edge. Oh, that looks fantastic on there, doesn't it? And then this one, let's see if we can find the one that came after. Ha ha ha, it's that one. Alright, so I'm going to put this one down. Oh, see, we're getting snaky, tricky here. Sneaky. Alright, same thing. One side to the other. Top to bottom. Pushing it down. Oh, we put that in the wrong place. Let's get it up real quick. Oh, no. We want it over here. We gotta get it up. Gotta get it. Before it. There. Whew. Ooh, put that in the wrong spot. See? Why'd you guys let me do that? Oh, wait, because you're not here. Why? Because I very rarely craft live. Like, not with anything really important, let's be honest. Okay, here we go. Alright, we're going to get this down. Get it in the right spot. Okay. Now we're putting one over there. Oh, we got to see if we can find. Wouldn't that be cool if we could find it, like... No, we can't. Oh, that's so bad. Alright, we're going to use this one. We didn't get it right. Oh well, it's probably still over there. If I thought about it, I could have done it. Hey, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Ask Meatloaf, he'll tell you. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this one down. Cover up where we ripped that other one up. Alright, we got 3 pieces on there. Now we're going to turn it over. Oop, I'm one short. I needed 5 of these and only 1 of these. Okay, so we're going to put the music page one on the middle here. So I'm going to need to cut another butterfly, which means I'm probably going to cut the butterfly that I would have used on the back. But, oh well. It's in the past now. Here we go. The music page is going right here in the center. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Ooh! I even put it right side up. So I'm going to cut another one of these real quick. What was that? 3.5? Three and a half. There we go. 3.5. By 5 3/4, I believe. I can't remember a measurement in my head for 5 minutes to save my butt. Just can't. I got it crooked. Okay. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's, let me get my scissors real quick here because I got a little. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and ink this real quick and we'll get it in. It's okay. We can use the, you know, the wrong one can be used on one of the notebooks, I'm sure. Just do a little trim on it, you know. All right. So now let's put these down. One there. It's a good thing this is not directional. Or I'd be in a world of trouble. And this one over here. All right. So now we have all of those down. So now we're going to let those dry. And then we're going to work on it's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Look at that. Gorgeous. So the only thing I forgot to do was the, but it's not a big deal. We'll see. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. We're going to work on the notebooks. I will be right back. All right, now you remember we cut these down to 7.5 by 5.5. So we need a piece that is 7 1/4. No, we don't. It's 3 3/4. So we need one that's 3.5 by 5 1/4, which is what we have left over from the piece. I just cut a little bit off the ends. So what we're going to do is we're going to ink the open end of this now. Doo-doo-doo. Just get these inked. And then we're going to do opposites. Okay? Well, I'm going to do opposites. You can do anything you want, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to do the opposites. And that is because one of our books is actually going to be showing the back of the book, and the other one is going to be showing the front of the book. I'll show you. Okay. So, when these get inserted, they go in this way, which means this is the front for a standard book. But this is actually the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same paper on the front of both of these. And then I'm going to put the same paper on the back, and you'll see what happens. So let's put some glue on here. And I'm going to want to make sure that I got this going in the right direction, because this paper is directional, it has words on it. We don't want those words to be upside down. It's got musical notes, and we don't want that to be upside down, so we're going to make sure that this is going in the right direction. And yes, you need to be able to read sheet music to tell that. There we go. Glad I was reading it in French. All right. And then this one is going to go on the other one. Then we're going to turn these over and put the other, the butterfly on the other side. You'll see what happens when I put these in the book. Something magical is going to happen. You'll see. I love art glitter glue because it dries very quickly, but I hate art glitter glue because it dries very quickly. All right, so now let's turn them over, and we're going to glue down the other side. All right, so those are the covers for our books. Now, obviously, we're going to put some paper in them and stuff, so we'll be doing that in a second. But I want to show you what happens here. So let's bring this back over. All right, so the first book is going to go in this way. Oh, there we go. And then this one is going to go in this way. Look at that. Right? So, we still get the same look. Oh. Oh. You can do the inside flaps if you want to as well. That is entirely up to you. But I'm not going to be doing it that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting some notebook paper in here. And you'll see we're going to end up with a nice big thick piece. But we have one last thing we have to do before we can put the notebook paper in, and that is, this is dangerous, so you have to be careful doing this. Right here, okay, on our seam, right in the score line, you just want to nick this just a little bit. About half an inch, and it's got to be straight. Okay. There's the top of it. Right there. Okay. So you want to put a little slice in there. See? All right, on both sides. On the inside. And I'll tell you, now, if you don't want to do it this way, you can glue your ribbon back here, okay? But I want to thread my ribbon. So I'm going to get my ribbon out. I'm going to get my paper out. I'll be right back. All right. So a while ago, I was looking for craft paper to work a project because I like to do my mock-ups in craft paper. And I went to the store and I picked this up. And it wasn't until I opened it to do a mock-up that I realized that this was not craft paper. This is 24 pound or 90 GSM. This is like copyweight paper. And I wanted to do this project with it, and I couldn't afford it on Amazon because it was redonkulous, but it was relatively inexpensive from Michael's, so I was able to get some at Michael's. And I have my organza ribbon, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this stuff out of the way and bring my paper trimmer back because I need to cut this. Now the original is at 7.5, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this at 7 1/4, right between 7 1/4 and 7.5, so 7 3/8. Okay. So let's get rid of this. Oopsie. There we go. And then 5.5, but we don't want 5.5. We want this to be at 5.25. So we're going to put it in here at 5.25. Cut that one. That's one book. And then we're going to take this one and put it in here at 5.25. And this is going to be the second book. So we're taking a 1/2 inch off the height. Okay. Okay. A little rough there. Okay. Now, we're going to fold this in half and make sure that it works in our book, in our notebook. Isn't that glorious? Beautiful, isn't it? I love it. All right, we shouldn't have too much creep because there's not a lot of paper here. So let's bring over one of our notebooks and take a look and see how we did. Oh, almost perfect. We need to trim a little bit, okay? We're going to need to trim just a little bit off the edge here. All right, so I'm going to use my ruler. I know it's here. It's always here. I'm a big bad razor knife. All right, let's test fit again. Where did I put the lid? Where did I put it? There it is. Let's put that in. I like the height. That is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to fold this one. I'm going to do the same thing, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how to stitch this in. And if you do not have it, you can use a regular stapler. It's okay to staple them in. Okay, that's fine. But I'm going to show you how to sew this in. We're going to use a three-hole pamphlet stitch to stitch this in, and we're going to get this whole thing put together. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so we're going to stitch this in using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have our paper in here where we want it, and then you can use paper clips, clamps, whatever, to hold that in place. And then we're going to poke through in the middle, or what you feel is approximately the middle, and then about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch in on either end. Okay, and you can see those come through right in the fold. That's where we want them. Okay, you can see the eruptions right here, 1, 2, and 3, and they're right on the edge. That is where we want them. Then we're going to use a needle. It doesn't have to be sharp, and I'm using wax thread. Now, I use wax thread on everything. It doesn't mean that you have to. You can use embroidery floss. You can use quilting thread is a good good substitute for this. What else? String. Ribbon. Ribbon would look fantastic. Okay? So I'm going to start inside, and I'm going to go to the outside. And then I'm going to hold the thread. Then I'm going to come up. It doesn't matter if it come up at the top or at the bottom. But I'm going to come back through the hole. And I use this big needle so you guys can see it. Okay? And then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. All the way. And come out down here. Alright? So I have one little stitch here and one huge stitch here. Now I'm going to come back up through that original hole. And I want to come up on the opposite side of that thread, of the stitch in the middle, okay? So I want one piece on either side. And then I'm going to take my needle out, and I'm going to put a square knot in here, right over left, left over right. You guys know the deal. Now, if you wanted to have this string on the outside, you would just start the other way. Okay, and then I'm going to trim these off. Boink. can trim them short, I can trim them long, it doesn't matter, however I want to do it. And there's my book. Now, I'm going to do that one more time so everybody can, you know, go, okay, yeah, I got it. So, I have my paper in my book. I have it lined up where I want it. I'm going to clip my paper so it does not move. It doesn't matter where I clip it, okay? Hole in the center, and I'm pushing into a piece of foam here. You can use like a book or whatever. Whatever you want to use. One down, 3/4 of an inch, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch there, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch over here. Holes right along the fold. Blind old lady trying to thread a needle. There we go. Out through the center hole. Hold that. Back in, top or bottom, doesn't matter. And this is just a 3-hole stitch, okay? Not my preferred, but with something this small, it's ridiculous to do more than this. Okay? Then back up through that center hole on the opposite side of this center thread. Now the reason for that. The reason for that is because now you can pull these against each other and not on your stitching, okay? To tighten it, right over left, left over right, make a square knot. Whoop. There we go. Trim these off. Take off your clips. And there's your second one. When I come back, we're going to put the whole thing together. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to take our ribbon, start on the outside, find our little slice there, and we're going to feed the ribbon through. And then it's going to go underneath to the other side. Want to make sure that it's flat, and then we're going to feed it back out on the other side. Okay? Such a pain. A lot of this is just that my hands don't work very well. Carpal tunnel, it'll do it to you. Okay, I'm going to cheat. There's a workaround for everything, guys. All right, now we're going to make sure that that is evenish. It'll move. Okay? Wow. Totally hidden. All right. Notebook. You can do it with the pages like this or put the pages inside. It doesn't matter, however you want to do it, okay? So, I'm going to put that in there. This one is going in on the other side. Just like that. Bring in our side, bring in our side. We're going to bring these up and tie it off. And then you can adjust, you know, your ribbon accordingly for size. Now that's gonna smart. in just a second. That gossamer ribbon decided it did not like my fingernail. And ripped a big chunk. Okay. So let's go ahead and tie this now that I can do that. Okay, there it is. How cute is that? So now when you open this up, you have one notebook here, one notebook here. You can take them out, and you have these extra pieces that are left over. Where is it? There it is. And if you want to, you can add some little tuck pockets. You know, this is tall enough that you can put a slot pocket on the side over here if you want, and maybe put the other paper on it, or more of this paper, because you have that nice little thin strip of it left. You have this piece. You know, you could do a pocket right there. You could do a pocket down here. You can add extra pockets to this with the extra paper, so you're not wasting it. Okay? There we go. I will put some measurements for some pockets in the description below. And if I forget, somebody yell at me. Okay? That's it. That's my project for this week. If you're new here, go ahead and push that button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, do all that stuff. But more importantly, check out my community tab. Find out what I got going on, what's coming up. Check out my Facebook group. There's all kinds of stuff we do over there. And there's a list over there as well of everything that I have coming up. So if you look in the community tab and you can't find what you need, just go on over there. Also, check out my Ko-Fi, where you can pick up a couple of free digitals if you'd like, and swing by my Patreon and try a free 1-week subscription. You might like it. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.